Thanks for staying tuned. And once again, I am Obu Teresha from Brano High School. With me in the studio are
Iriokbe Jacinta Obey from Brano High School.
Success Ademo from Decency Education Center.
Obama Blessing Esoye from Brano High School.
And today, we are going to be talking about achieving economic growth and stability. We all know that the meaning of growth is to increase. So, Obey, can you help us with a proper definition of economic growth?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. Economic growth is the increments in the productive sectors or in goods and services in a country.
Blessing, can you add something to that?
Well, she has said it because it is the increment in the production of goods and services in an economy or the economic growth of a country.
Thank you. But since the recession that Nigeria experienced in 2016 and the impact of COVID-19 into Nigeria in 2022, Nigeria has not yet recovered or experienced economic growth. Blessing, what do you think are the factors that are making Nigeria not to experience this economic growth?
Well, thank you very much for that too. Now, what I think is that recession, as Ella said, and COVID-19 are not the only factors that is hindering economic growth in our country. Let's look at infrastructural deficits, power supply, electricity. It is really a challenge in the Nigeria economy. Power supply is one of the major things that can make a country go and the economy grow. So societies in the country today have low or no power supply. Even the small-scale businessmen and women like the hairdresser, the barber, and so on, they also need power. And if they are depending on other sources of electricity, it is also going to reduce their production, which will lead to less economic growth. And also talking about electricity, our manufacturers, our producers, they also are not left out in the use of electricity. And when there is lack of electricity, there will be less production because other form of electricity cannot function the way the normal power supply is supposed to function, which will lead to less production and which will lead to low economic growth. And this problem of power supply, electricity, has become it has become alarming and become uncalled for.
In addition to what you said about infrastructural deficits, bad roads is also one of them. The bad state of roads affects traders who move their goods from one place to another to sell. Bus drivers now increase the cost of transportation, and in turn, the trainers increase the cost of their goods, and this leads to inflation. Even sometimes, most times, you hear stories of how buses fell into gutters, some assaulted, just due to the bad roads in Nigeria. Goods were lost, lives were lost too. And this doesn't improve the Nigerian economy at all.
In line with what she just said, bad roads. Another major factor of economic growth in a country is also time wastage. Now, you know, Nigeria is a country that carries out interstate trade. So now let's take, for instance, a trader who moves from one country to another to purchase goods and services. Now, if the roads are bad, there is no way those goods will be delivered on time. And this will make the trader unhappy. And due to this, when the goods finally comes, she will have no choice than to increase the prices of those goods and services. So this also leads to another effect of the economic growth in the country.
Blessing, apart from infrastructural deficits, can you help us with other factors that can affect the economic growth of a country?
Yes, I can, because there are a lot. There are so many factors, and one of which is insecurity. You see, security is something that a country should boast of. But in this country, what do we see today? Even a child cannot boast of security. The insecurity it has become very high. Let's go to the north and the middle belt of the country, where the food production of the country is mainly situated. Now we are hearing about the farmers and the herders clash. Now, if that region of the country is where we produce food, and there is this farmer's peddler. In food production, it will become very low, which will lead to the low supply of food and cause high rate of inflation in the remaining short supply of foods that are remaining. Now, leaving the north, let's go to the southeast, which is the commercial hub of the country, where a lot of activities have been taking place and are still going to take place in the southeast. Now, traders, manufacturers, producers are scared to go to the east. Why? Because of insecurity, because of fear of the unknown. They are scared that, oh, I don't want to go there now and all my money will be taken off me. I don't want to go there now and my goods will be taken out from my hands. This is called insecurity. And that's factor, another thing that is making insecurity in that economic growth in our country is because of the investors. When investors see that we lack security, when they see that there's insecurity in our country, they will go to other countries, neighboring countries, to go and invest because of our insecurity and because of the high cost of production in our country.
Let's also not forget that Nigeria is a nation that is majorly dependent on importation. Nigeria has a very huge market due to our population. But you find out that we depend mostly on other countries for products. And this discourages our local products. Even imported products are now cheaper than our locally made products. This is because the cost of production is very high. And why is it high? Because of the lack of infrastructure and power. This doesn't help our economy at all. Our economic growth decreases every single day.
Obey, can you add something to what she has just said?
You know, some of our economic policies are enemies to the economic growth of this country. Take, for instance, multiple taxation. Now, let's look at the side of a business person, or let's say a trader, whose site, most especially on small-scale production, is located in an area in which the road is damaged. Now, that trader will not be able to meet up to the taxes imposed by the government due to that same bad roads. Because consumers will always complain that they can't pass those roads to patronize them. So with that, the trader cannot meet up to the taxes imposed by the government. And this also leads to economic growth defects.
So, having mentioned the factors that can affect the economic growth of a country, Success, can you help us with some of the solutions?
One of the solutions, one of the factors, the solutions to over-dependence on importation, is that government should fix the refineries we have in Nigeria, like the fuel now. We even import fuel. We import fuel from other countries. Government should fix our refineries, and there will be no need for importation of fuel. And also, government should fix our infrastructures, like power. We need electricity in this country for the production of goods and other products needed. And also, government should also stop the importation of goods that are of less or no value to us in Nigeria. For example, importation of toothpicks, whether made by Louis Vuitton.
Okay, in addition to what my mate just said, the government really needs to look into the electricity sector in this country, whereby the producers will be more confident that they can produce more goods in the country. They should also look at the security aspect of the nation. There should be more enforcement in the country. Because, let's move back to the power sector now. If there's life, if there's power, there will be more productions. The barber will even think of going to buy fuel when there's light. Nobody will have that kind of idea now. If there is light, you can't say, I'm going to go and buy fuel and generator. Even the hairdresser said, she'll be having more customers. And she will also increase in her production. And business will be booming for her. Also, the manufacturers and the producers, if there is light, they will produce more. The machines will work more effectively. And the security aspects, the government should make sure, they should ensure that they should bring in more enforcement into the security, because this problem of security is very alarming and it needs to be urgently looked into.
So, Obey, can you add something to what Blessing has just said about the solution
Okay, another solution I have is having an accountable government. What this means is that having a government that is willing to adopt effective and transparent management of the public, thereby providing a safe, stable, and attractive environment, and also a government that will be able to develop infrastructure.
Yes. Success, do you have anything to add to what she had just said? Thank you. So, if all this solution has been done by the government, what do you think are the things that is to be done by them to sustain this economic growth? Success.
As I said before, we need infrastructural development. The government need to develop our infrastructures. Like the bad roads, they need to be fixed. Power supply needs to be stable. There are some areas that haven't had lights for 6 years now. Satellite hasn't had lights. This doesn't help our growth of our economy at all. So that's my solution.
To add to it, Blessing, can you tell us the meaning of economic sustainability?
Okay. Well, economic sustainability. This is, when we maintain the factors that help us to achieve economic growth, like the electricity now. We maintain constant supply of electricity. That we have already maintained sustainability. Thank you.
Yeah, no, sure.
So, what are our benefits if this economic growth is being sustained by the government?
First of all, it improves our standard of living. It provides job opportunities, and this is one of the things, and this is the top things that our youth need right now. They seek job opportunities, and when these jobs are provided, there will be low rates of crime in Nigeria. The Yahoo you hear about, you won't hear of it anymore, because the youth have jobs now to attend to.
Okay, to add to that, when there is economic growth, the benefits of that is that there will be improved standard of living in our country. With economic growth, nobody will be worried. The cost of production will be very low and balanced for both the poor and the rich. Thank you.
In addition to what she just said, they will be satisfactory in the minds of the people, in the sense that the national income of the country becomes increased, and this will lead to the rate of investors coming from other countries to invest here. So this can also lead to economic growth in the country.
Well, we have come to the end of this show, Business This Week. But before I leave, I want to say a big thank you to the management and staff of ITV. I am Obute Rachel from Brano High School. Have a good day.